Oh no. You said the magic words. Now your GM has gone all misty-eyed. Your fellow players look nervous. You said, maybe I could Dungeon Master sometime, and you could be one of the players. Well, you can. And you're already nearly ready. Let me push you over the edge. As someone who plays tabletop games with a group, you're in a great position to start your own game or campaign. Having been a game master for over 40 years, I have some very strong opinions about how we bring new game masters into the hobby or create new game masters within. But we'll save my rant about starter sets for another video. Perhaps your game master makes it look effortless, or maybe they make it look like more work than you're sure it needs to be. Either way, there's a very small hurdle to clear before you run your first game. That hurdle is pretty much entirely your confidence. The other hurdle is getting your friends to accept a change of driver and see you as the GM. Compared to someone coming into the hobby without a gaming group, you have a great advantage. Your friends. I'm a big advocate of farming out the work to the rest of the table, and this is a situation where you can totally do that. First, let's get buy-in from the current GM. Can you run a 2 or 3 shot on the existing game night? Perhaps they have a big climax coming that would benefit from a change of pace, a mid-season cliffhanger type deal where the spaceship crashes and we don't know who's alive and who's dead, because before that, here is a short game where we're all going to play cats and rabbits. If you have the kind of GM who won't let you prise their hands from the wheel, then my sympathies. Most GMs would love the chance to have a break and play a character once in a while. And a short-term guest GM at the table is a respectful way of honouring the work they've done, put group together. You're not hijacking, you're borrowing, and you're going to give it back. Talk to the people who will be the players too. Are there genres or themes they've always wanted to see in a game? If you're already dead set on a particular game, then get them excited and interested in that by explaining what it is about that particular game that has fascinated you. Excitement is good. Some people might be cautious about a new game and a new GM and a new system, and we're not just going to homebrew everything into our usual edition of the rules. So I'm going to repeat my usual tip for this. You're not selling them a multi-chapter campaign that they must commit to for years, sight unseen. You're running an experiment. You're new to Game Mastery. It's due for them to have a new person in the GM seat. It's going to be a short adventure, 3 sessions. First session then is character creation. Session 0 rolled into session 1. And in media res, start crash bangs them into the action. Exploration is session 2, gathering the clues, uncovering the villain, giving you a chance to decide who that is before session 3, which is the big fight climax finale. We take them down. We perhaps have to rush the epilogue slightly, so it feels like they want to have session 4, but you demur and you hand back to their regularly scheduled GM. This means they want more. You've got a chance to review how it went, make notes, work out what would happen next, and the GM you're standing in for doesn't feel like you've overstayed. 3 sessions and stop. As players, it's easy sometimes to think to ourselves, I could run this adventure my way. Maybe the GM leans towards combat or social interaction or lyrical descriptions, and you would tilt the game along a different axis. That's fine. People GM differently with our own styles and focuses, and some of these come easier than others. And even if you're sure you know what would come easy for you, please don't, under any circumstances, rehash their game in your style. In fact, I'd go as far as to suggest you really ought to use an entirely different rule set. More on that in a bit, but a rehash could feel to the other players like a flashback. We've already done this adventure, haven't we? And for the GM, it can feel deliberately insulting. Plus, if it's a written adventure, the GM's already read it, and they'll have to battle through all that meta knowledge in order to enjoy their time as a player. Your game should be yours, not a rebuttal of theirs. Have it be different, not a criticism or a commentary. And even if you're using the same rule system, take the action to an entirely different place. That way there's no overlap but did we meet them in your game or his game? Which version of the town are we standing in? Have pirates on a boat, the prisoners pressed ganged into fighting the zombies, the drunks who wake up to find they've been shrunk down and sent down the drain in the wizard's study to retrieve a magical ring. Where have you always wanted to go in the background? Think of the central concept you're excited to see people explore, and then you can infuse them. There's nothing inherently wrong with strangers who meet in a tavern, but this is a short experiment. So let's throw a lot of jelly up the flagpole and see if the cat salutes it. And yes, a great way to make it clear you're not trying to be a clone of regular GM Jeff and instead be your own person is to use an entirely different rule system. Go diametrically opposite maybe. If your usual game is science fantasy D&D, offer science fiction Mothership. If you usually play grim and gritty, suggest Wander Home. What don't you usually do that would be fun to do instead? Find a game that spotlights that. Playing outside of their usual game rules can also cut down on some player issues. And you don't want to have to listen to, oh, but GM Jeff always lets me interpret the rules this way and roll to do things in these circumstances. Following on from different rules is different characters, not their old characters and not pre-existing and not pre-gen. As we're only running 3 sessions and then the story is done, we have to create the characters together in the first session. They are the people involved in this particular plot. Stress that they have not met by accident, even if no one knows why Rex Lemon has invited them to his deserted mansion at 1515 Carcosa Drive. This is not just for your benefit. Actually discussing why they would want this character or that character is a key part of playing the game. It creates engagement, it builds excitement. So if you can help it, please don't give them characters you've written. We don't want to fall into any of the starter set traps. So here's your action plan. Coordinate with your existing table to be a guest GM for an experimental 3-shot. Get the players excited about trying a different setting, style, rule set. Begin the first session with collaborative character creation and then launch into the action. Stop after the big battle and look back at how it went. If they want to continue, then make plans for a second game night or agree some sort of sharing agreement, but do hand back to their regularly scheduled game. Some of those might sound daunting, but if you've watched any of my other videos, then you'll know that I have suggestions and opinions already on how to do all of this. Have a look at the ones for the areas you feel least confident and remind yourself this: the best GM you know or have seen on YouTube was once a complete noob. None of this is inherent. All of it is practice. We play to find out what happens, and that's not just in the story. We play to find out how we play, and you won't find out how you GM until you start. A number of the people I've spoken to about why they play but not GM have said the thing that intimidates them most, as they aren't actors, is embodying NPCs and bringing them to life. If you're worried about voices, let me fix that. Watch this video next.